the guardians of the eternal veil. In a time long before men walked the earth, when the skies blazed with the light of newborn stars and the land pulsed with primordial energy, two giants roamed the realm of Etheria. Their names were Gog and Magog, ancient beings said to have been forged by the hands of the celestial smiths to guard the eternal veil, a mystical expanse said to hold the balance of creation itself, the birth of the giants. Legends whispered that Gog was sculpted from the bones of the earth, his immense frame carved from stone and iron. His eyes gleamed with the fire of molten lava, and every step he took caused the ground to quake. Magog, by contrast, was shaped from the essence of the sky, her form fluid and ever-shifting, with hair that flowed like storm clouds and a voice that carried the echo of thunder. Though they were siblings, their temperaments were as different as night and day. Gog was a stoic guardian, bound by duty and honor, while Magog was wild and untamed, often questioning the purpose of their eternal vigil. The Eternal Veil. The Eternal Veil lay hidden in the heart of Etheria, a paradise untouched by time. At its center stood the world spire, a towering crystal that pulsed with radiant energy, its light weaving the threads of reality. It was said that if the world spire ever shattered, chaos would devour all existence. Gog and Magog were its appointed keepers, charged with defending it from any who sought to wield its power. For millennia, their task was unchallenged. The giants stood as immovable sentinels, their presence alone deterring would-be intruders. Yet the longer they stood watch, the more Magog's heart grew restless. The seeds of betrayal. One fateful evening, as the skies burned with the hues of a dying sun, a shadowy figure emerged from the mists of the veil. It was a sorceress known only as Nithera, her beauty as captivating as it was dangerous. She spoke to Magog in a voice that dripped with honeyed promises. "Why must you remain bound to this thankless task?" she whispered. "You are a creature of power and majesty, yet you chain yourself to a lifeless stone. Together we could reshape the world." Magog hesitated, her heart torn. Nithera's words awakened a yearning she had long suppressed. But Gog, ever vigilant, sensed the sorceress's treachery. He confronted her, his voice a deep rumble that shook the veil. "Leave this place, deceiver, or face my wrath." Nithera fled, but the seed of doubt had already taken root in Magog's heart. The clash of titans. It was not long before Magog turned against her brother. Driven by a desire for freedom and a growing belief that the power of the world spire could be wielded for good, she attempted to seize it. Gog, bound by his duty, stood in her way. Their battle was a cataclysmic event that reshaped the landscape of Etheria. Mountains crumbled, rivers boiled, and the skies wept as the siblings clashed. Gog's fists of stone met Magog's tempestuous fury, their blows creating storms and earthquakes. Though Gog fought to protect the veil, he could not bring himself to destroy his sister. Magog, however, was relentless, her ambition blinding her to the consequences of her actions. The Fall and the Curse. In the end, Magog's attempt to claim the world spire failed. The crystal's energy lashed out, shattering the harmony of the veil and casting both giants into a deep slumber. The world spire cracked but did not break. Its light dimmed, yet still pulsing faintly. As they fell, the celestial smiths cursed the giants for their failure. Gog and Magog were bound to the ruins of the veil, their forms transformed into towering statues. They would remain there until the day a hero could restore the world spire and reconcile their broken bond. The prophecy of reawakening ages passed, and the tale of Gog and Magog faded into myth. Yet, deep within the ruins of the eternal veil, their spirits lingered, waiting for the day they might awaken and atone for their actions. It is said that when the stars align and the world stands on the brink of chaos, a chosen one will emerge to heal the world spire. Only then will Gog and Magog rise again, not as adversaries, but as united guardians, ready to protect the realm from the encroaching darkness. And so, the giants slumber, their fate intertwined with the destiny of Etheria. Their story a reminder of the fragile balance between duty, ambition, and the bonds of kinship. Gog and Magog, The Chosen One's Quest, Part 2. The stars shimmered with an eerie alignment not seen for millennia, casting their light upon the shattered remnants of the eternal veil. The world of Etheria, once vibrant and whole, had fractured into realms teetering on the edge of chaos. Famine swept the plains, storms lashed the coasts, and whispers of dark forces gathering in the shadows sent fear into the hearts of mortals. Amid this turmoil, a young orphan named Kale, born under a celestial comet, began his journey toward destiny. The call to adventure. Kale had always been different. His golden eyes seemed to hold the light of the stars themselves, and his touch could heal wounds others deemed fatal. Raised by an ancient order of monks in the Mistwood, he had spent his life preparing for a purpose he didn't yet understand. One night, Kale dreamed of the Eternal Veil. In the dream, the towering statues of Gog and Magog loomed over him, their eyes glowing faintly as if calling out to him. A voice, deep and resonant, echoed in his mind. Restore the world spire, awaken the guardians. The fate of Etheria rests in your hands. When Kale awoke, he found an ancient sigil clutched in his hand, a fragment of crystal that pulsed faintly with the same energy as the world spire. It was a sign. The monks, recognizing the prophecy, bid him farewell, Winnetai, arming him with their blessings and a map to the Eternal Veil. The journey begins. Kale's path was fraught with danger. The first leg of his journey took him through the Ashen Wastes, a barren expanse haunted by shadow fiends, monstrous creatures born of Etheria's decaying balance. Armed with little more than a staff and his wits, Kale narrowly escaped their grasp, his budding powers manifesting in moments of desperation. In his travels, he encountered allies. Lyara, a fierce warrior with a mysterious past, and Rhineth, a cunning rogue whose knowledge of ancient lore proved invaluable. Though initially skeptical of Kale's quest, they were drawn to his unyielding determination and the strange, otherworldly energy that surrounded him. Together, they uncovered fragments of the giant's history, piecing together the tale of Gog and Magog's fall. They learned of the sorceress Nythera, who had not vanished but had instead become a shadowy figure, manipulating the forces of chaos to ensure the world spire remained broken. The ruins of the Eternal Veil. After months of perilous travel, Kale and his companions reached the Eternal Veil. The once lush paradise was now a wasteland, its skies perpetually darkened, its rivers dry and lifeless. At the center stood the towering statues of Gog and Magog, their forms cracked and weathered, but still exuding an aura of immense power. Kale approached the World Spire's ruins. The crystal fragment he carried pulsed wildly, resonating with the broken spire. As he placed the fragment into the largest crack, a surge of energy coursed through the ground. The statues of Gog and Magog began to stir, their stone exteriors crumbling to reveal their true forms beneath, dormant but alive. But the awakening was incomplete. The world spire remained fractured, and the giant's power was but a shadow of its former glory. To fully restore the balance, Kale needed to find the Tha celestial keystone, an artifact that could mend the world spire and awaken the giants in their entirety. The return of Nythera. Before Kale could act, a dark mist descended upon the veil. From its depths emerged Nythera, her once beautiful visage now twisted and malevolent. Her voice was a venomous hiss. "You dare meddle in forces beyond your comprehension, boy? The giants are relics of a forgotten age, and the world spire is mine to command." Nythera unleashed her power, summoning spectral beasts and twisting the terrain itself to her will. Kale and his companions fought valiantly, their bond and courage pushing them to the brink of their limits. Kale, feeling the pull of the world spire's energy, reached deep within himself. He channeled the fragment's power, creating a protective barrier around his allies and forcing Nythera to retreat, for now. But her parting words were a chilling promise. "You cannot save them, child. The balance has already tipped." The Giant's Warning. As the mist cleared, Gog and Magog spoke for the first time in centuries. Their voices were deep and resonant, carrying both sorrow and a faint glimmer of hope. "You have awakened us partially, young one," said Gog, "but the keystone remains lost. Without it, we cannot mend the world spire." Magog's stormy eyes softened as she regarded Kale. "Beware, Nythera. Her corruption has deepened. She seeks not just the world spire's power, but dominion over all realms." Kale, though weary, met their gaze with resolve. "I will find the keystone, I will restore the world spire, and I will see both of you united again." The next leg of the quest. The giants revealed the location of the celestial keystone. an ancient temple hidden within the floating isles of Luminaris, a realm accessible only through a portal guarded by the Skyborn, an enigmatic race believed to have vanished eons ago. With renewed purpose, Kale and his companions set out once more, their journey taking them into the skies and into the heart of forgotten mysteries. As they left the Eternal Vale, Gog and Magog watched them go, their spirits flickering with a hope they had not felt in millennia. For Kale, the journey was far from over, but with each step he came closer to fulfilling the prophecy, to restoring the balance of Etheria, and to awakening the true power of the Guardians. Little did he know the greatest challenges and the most painful choices still lay ahead. Gog and Magog, The Final Awakening, Part 3. The journey to the floating isles of Luminaris was perilous, testing every ounce of Kale's resolve and the strength of his companions. The stakes were clear. Without the celestial keystone, the world spire could not be restored. Gog and Magog would remain weakened, and Etheria would descend into chaos. The Skyborn Portal. Kale and his companions reached the cliffs of the celestial abyss, a gateway to Luminaris suspended between earth and sky. There, they discovered an ancient altar inscribed with glowing runes. Rhineth deciphered the text, revealing that only a soul imbued with the World Spire's energy could activate the portal. Kale stepped forward, clutching the fragment of the World Spire. As he channeled its energy, the runes flared to life and a shimmering vortex appeared. The group entered, finding themselves in the realm of Luminaris, a breathtaking expanse of floating islands bathed in golden light, each one teeming with ancient ruins and thriving ecosystems. But the isles were not unguarded. The Skyborn, a race of winged beings once thought extinct, emerged from the skies. Their leader, Areth, challenged Kale, questioning his worthiness. "Why should we entrust you with the keystone?" Areth demanded. "You seek to awaken giants who once nearly destroyed all of creation." Kale stood firm. "Gog and Magog were betrayed, not destroyers. Without them, Etheria will perish. I fight not for power, but for balance, and for the lives of all who call this world home." Moved by Kale's sincerity and the light emanating from the fragment, Orith relented, but with a warning. "The keystone lies in the Temple of Radiance, but Nythera's shadow has already reached Luminaris. Beware her traps." The Temple of Radiance. The Temple of Radiance, perched on the highest isle, shimmered like a beacon of light. As Kale and his companions ascended, they faced relentless challenges, shifting platforms, riddles of light and shadow, and spectral guardians animated by Nythera's dark magic. Within the temple's heart, they found the celestial keystone, an orb of pure energy, radiating power. But as Kale reached for it, Nythera appeared, her form now monstrous, twisted by the corruption of the broken world spire. "You cannot stop me, boy," she snarled. "This world will kneel to me, or it will burn." Nythera unleashed her full fury, summoning torrents of dark energy and monstrous constructs. The battle was unlike any Kale had faced before. Lyara and Rhineth fought valiantly, buying Kale the time he needed to reach the keystone. As his hand closed around it, a surge of energy coursed through him, awakening a latent power within. Kale confronted Nythera, their powers colliding in a dazzling storm of light and shadow. In a desperate final move, Kale channeled the keystone's energy, creating a wave of light that obliterated Nythera's constructs and forced her to retreat. But victory came at a cost. The temple began to collapse, its energy spent. The group narrowly escaped, clutching the keystone as Luminaris began to fade from existence, its purpose fulfilled. Hashtag the restoration of the world spire. Returning to the Eternal Vale, Kale placed the celestial keystone within the heart of the shattered world spire. The keystone fused with the crystal, mending its fractures. A radiant light erupted, engulfing the veil and spreading across Etheria, restoring the land's balance. Gog and Magog awakened fully, their true forms towering and resplendent. Gog's rocky exterior gleamed with veins of molten gold, while Magog's stormy visage shimmered with the glow of starlight. The giants knelt before Kale, their voices echoing with gratitude and newfound resolve. "You have restored not only the world spire, but also our purpose," Gog rumbled. "The balance of Etheria endures because of your courage." Magog's stormy eyes softened as she added, "You have shown us that duty and freedom can coexist. The bonds we thought broken are whole again, thanks to you." The final confrontation. Nithera, weakened but not defeated, appeared one final time, her rage palpable. You think this is over? The World Spire's power will never be enough to contain the darkness I've unleashed. Kale, standing alongside Gog and Magog, replied, You're wrong. The balance is stronger than you realize. The giants unleashed their combined power, a fusion of earth and storm overwhelming Nithera. But it was Kale who delivered the final blow, channeling the World Spire's energy to banish her shadow from Etheria. With a deafening cry, Nithera dissolved into nothingness. A new era with Nithera's defeat. The light of the World Spire spread across Etheria, healing the land and its people. Gog and Magog vowed to remain as protectors, not only of the World Spire, but also of the balance they had once failed to preserve. Kale, now hailed as the harbinger of balance, declined offers of kingship or glory. This was never my journey alone, he said, looking at Lyara and Rhineth. We did this together, and the world belongs to everyone. As Kale prepared to leave the Eternal Vale, Gog and Magog knelt before him, offering their final words. You are the bridge between worlds, Kale, said Gog. Should Etheria face peril again, we will stand with you. Magog smiled faintly, a rare gesture of warmth. Go now, and live as the world's light-bearer. You have earned your peace. The legend lives on. Kale returned to a world reborn, his name etched into the annals of history. But the legend of Gog and Magog endured as a testament to the power of unity, redemption, and the enduring light of hope. And so, the Eternal Vale stood as it always had, now thriving under the watchful gaze of the awakened giants. Balance had been restored, and though the giants remained vigilant, they knew that the true strength of Etheria lay in the hearts of those who believed in its light.